to the afternoon experiment. My name is Emanuel Livingston. I'm with you for a few minutes. For a few minutes. We'll see what happens. It's been shutting me down. I've been trying to go on for a while. So I had to get up and do some things and make some adjustments. But it looks like I'm staying on. Looks like I'm staying on. So, welcome to the afternoon experiment. I've got a few things that I want to talk about today. Just a couple things. Just a couple of things. 513 717 5464. 513 717 5464. Just a couple of things that I want to discuss today. My people, y'all know I love my people, but sometimes y'all frustrate the heck out of me. Sometimes y'all frustrate the heck out of me. But y'all know how I do. I have to go through the hellos. We'll do it this way. We got Robert Willis. Robert Willis says, let me throw up the deuces. All right, what's up, Robert? Miss Pittsburgh. Nikki. Got Nikki in the house. Good afternoon. Nicole Davis Kareem. Anthony in the house. Sabrina. Good afternoon from Kentucky. See, she doing it right. She doing it right. Lewis or CK in the house. And then y'all not telling me where y'all from. Anthony say Westwood. Thank you, Anthony. All right. I want to get a couple other people in here. Again, I got a couple things that I do want to discuss. A couple things that I definitely want to get in here. Teresa. Good afternoon from downtown. Robert says Anderson Township. Let me see. Brenda. Hello from Fairfield. What's up, Brenda? Come on in. Few more people an opportunity to get in here before we move on. Because, people going to be like, well, what's he talking about? What's he talking about? What's the topic? And then I'll have to repeat myself. It's going to happen anyway. But then I have to talk about my opening. Let me see. I'm trying to type something and think at the same time. It's almost impossible for me to type and think. I have to type what I'm thinking. Otherwise, I'm terrible. I'm shot. Oh, let me see. TC want to talk about how an Asian woman get to be on American money, but not Harriet Tubman. All right. But before I talk about that, all right, let me just get into it. And everybody else, when you come in, you just got to kind of get in where you fit in. Stefan Pryor. I'm not here to rally the troops around Stefan Pryor. I'm not. He got arrested for doing what he was doing with a bullhorn. And again, I don't have some great beef. I mean, it's something he'll end up going to court. Hopefully he'll end up beating, and then he'll end up suing. Hopefully that's what happens. But what frustrates me is hearing people. I don't really care about Lincoln calling him a jailbird either. For those of you who are not from Cincinnati and who don't follow Cincinnati Talk Radio, there might be one of y'all. Stefan Pryor is an activist, I guess. I think it could be called an activist in the Cincinnati community. There was an event at the Board of Elections, Hamilton County Board of Elections on Saturday. He came with a bullhorn. That's that thing you're talking to. I got one. I should have brought mine. He came with a bullhorn, talking in the bullhorn. Apparently at the Board of Elections, there's a sign that says no bullhorns. And so I guess he was told he couldn't use the bullhorn and he was asked to leave. He didn't leave. And so he was arrested. And a lot of people looking at it like, okay, that's pretty cut and dry. You don't want to follow the rules. They kick you out. They try to kick you out. You don't leave. You get arrested. He says he was arrested for criminal trespass. Now, y'all know I got a problem with this. As a person who I'm going to get arrested a lot, and I don't want to get arrested. But I fear I'm going to be arrested a lot because when I start doing these First Amendment audits, I'm going to be breaking all kind of rules. No laws, but rules. And trying to think of how to present it because I understand that there's a lot of people who don't understand. And there is a kind of a sentiment among a lot of people that if you don't follow the rules, like we've been so beat down, if you don't follow the rules, then you deserve to be punished. That sentiment exists. I understand it, and people don't even think that it's crazy. It is, under certain circumstances. That mindset is crazy under certain circumstances. And I'm trying to think of the best way to present it. I use Anthony Prosser as I'm trying to think of how to present it to Anthony. Because I feel like if I can get Anthony and Vernon, who I'm sure don't watch the show anymore. He had me blocked for a while. I think he started a new account or something, or he unblocked me one way or the other. And, he can see and on it, but I'm certain he's not watching. But in my mind, if I can get Anthony and Vernon to understand, I've done something. Now, it's not just those people, because I saw a lot of comments on the Lincoln Ware show when Stephon Pryor called in. And he didn't follow the rules. If you don't follow the rules, then that's what you get. But y'all, that's not the standard for getting arrested. You know what people call police officers? Another name for police officers? Hold on, CK. I'm going to get to that. Another name for police officers? Law enforcement officials. We give them the authority to enforce laws. And in the enforcement of those laws, we understand that sometimes things happen and, people break laws. So they might have to be punished for breaking the law. We understand that. And sometimes people don't want to be punished, so they might, try to fight back, and then police have to use a little bit of force to arrest them if they need to be arrested. Not cited. Sometimes people don't want to be cited either. And then police have to chase them so that they can cite them. And then when they catch them, then they want to get them for having to chase them. So they want to arrest you, but you don't want to be arrested. So you fight a little bit, and then they have to maybe use some force to subdue you. All right. And then, maybe during the process of being subdued, you do something that puts their lives or somebody else's life in danger. And then they have to use up to deadly force. All right. So we all understand that. But it all comes from them attempting to enforce a law, not a policy, not a rule, but a law. Not a policy, not a rule, but a law. That's what law enforcement, they're supposed to enforce laws, not policies, not rules, not people's feelings. Laws. I think I'm going to repeat it one more time because I'm not sure that everybody get it. Law enforcement officials, they are people who we've said you officially can enforce the law. And you have the full weight of the law behind you. But we don't say you're a policy enforcement official. You're a rules enforcement official. You're a feelings enforcement official. No, you're a law enforcement official. Now, laws are funny. Hold on, I had to put the thing up. Because I don't want anybody thinking. That I'm a lawyer. Laws are kind of funny. They're rules, but they are, what's the word? Codified. In Ohio anyway, we have what's called the Ohio Revised Code. That's the set of rules that our government here in Ohio have said people must obey these. Laws are typically things that you can't do. That's typically what laws spell out. You are not allowed to drive above this speed, or I don't know, maybe below that speed. You are not allowed to do this. You are not allowed to do that. But all of this comes from, there's this thing called the Constitution of the United States of America, right? And look, I don't know the whole Constitution. I don't. But there's these, in particular, these first few amendments that we call the Bill of Rights. Those things don't necessarily tell you what you can't do. Those things tell you what you can do. You have a right to freedom of speech. That means you can say almost anything you want to say. You have a right to assemble. I mean, you can come together. You have a right to redress your. You have a right to freedom of the press. You have there are a number of things that you have a right to do. So now we got these rights, right? Let's just take the first one, the freedom of speech. Well, one part of the First Amendment, the freedom of speech. So you got a right to talk and to say stuff. But what if people don't like that stuff? People been trying to stop people from saying stuff that they didn't like forever. People harm people, people kill people because they say things that they don't like. But I don't know what that noise was, but we have a right to speak, to the freedom of speech. And the government can't stop it. They're not supposed to be able to, because I said something, punish me for it. With some, a few exceptions, like, I can't do things to create, to create a riot. But other than that, I should be able to say basically whatever I want to say, and the government can't stop me. Now, that's different than a private entity, which I'll get to in a little bit. But the government, they're not supposed to be able to stop me. So, all right, we got this thing, the federal, that covers the entire country. But say here in Ohio, in Ohio, basically everything is legal until it's illegal, right? Right? Does that make any sense? Everything is legal unless it's illegal. You can do anything you want to do unless the law say you can't. And if the law does not say you can't, then you can. And if you do something that somebody don't like, and then they call the police on you, the police aren't just supposed to say, well, Mr. Livingston, you did this. You parked your car right here in front of this dude's house, and he don't like that. So we giving you a ticket. So, whoa, hold on. You giving me a ticket because he don't like me parking in front of his house? The law don't work like that. Now, if there's a sign up there and the government has said, look, here's the rule. Here is the law. You can't park in this spot. Here is the ordinance. Here is the, whatever. You can't park in this spot. And if you do, you get a $50 fine, $75 fine. Then the law enforcement can then come up because it's codified. It's been voted on. It's a rule that's codified, thus now a law. And they say you can't do this. Well, why not? Because there's a law against it. There's an ordinance against it. Not just because that guy didn't like it. Because think about it, that guy can say, I don't like him wearing that daggone old ass Echo shirt. And they call the police on me. And they be like, well, you wore that shirt that dude didn't like. It was a ticket. No. It's got to be a law. What's the law that say I can't wear an old Echo shirt? It ain't none. Then you can't give me a ticket. And you can't arrest me for it. Because I'm not breaking a law. Well, what if somebody put up a sign in front of their house and say, nobody is allowed to stand in front of my house with an old ass Echo shirt on? Right? What if that happened? Well, sorry, see, it's a sign up there to say no old ass Echo shirts. And you got on that old ass Echo shirt. Gotta arrest you. Maybe if I'm on their property, I still can't be arrested for it. But they can say you got to get off his property. Other than that, ain't a whole lot they can do about it because they're not feelings enforcement. They're not policy enforcement. They're not rules enforcement. They're law enforcement. Now, like I said, public and private, different. Public and private, different, right? On private property, let's take Walmart. Walmart can create any rule that they want to. There are some kind of government standards that, they're not allowed to discriminate and all that kind of stuff. Like they can't have a rule anymore. We know at one point they did, and we'll come back to this. They can no longer have a rule that says no blacks allowed. You can't do that. Sorry, Walmart. Much as you might not want, I don't really have beef with Walmart. I'm just using them as an example. Much as you might not want black people here, we're allowed to come in. But other than that, they're allowed to have rules. You got to wear a shirt to get in here. But I like my body. You know what I'm saying? I think it's sexy. No shirt, no service. And they can say, sorry, you don't have on a shirt. You got to go. That's their rule. It's a private company. You got to deal with it. Public is different. Public is different. If I'm allowed to be there in a public space, I'm allowed to be there. And you're not supposed to remove me from that public space if I'm not breaking a law, not violating a rule, but if I'm not breaking a law. So if the Board of Elections sticks a sign up and that sign says no bullhorns, what law backs that up? Because that's public. That's not private. Walmart can say no bullhorns. Well, he got a bullhorn. Get him off of our property. That's their property, bruh. They telling you to get off their property. You got to go. Public property is different. Public property is different. They got to sign up to say no bullhorns. What law backs that up? Tell me the law, the ordinance that says no bullhorns. If you don't have one, why are you asking me to leave? Why are you asking me to leave? I'm on public property, not violating any law. See how that works? Now, you might not like that bullhorn is annoying. Get with your city, state, whatever government, pass a law or ordinance. But other than that, no. Jason says, disturbing the peace or disorderly conduct. Nice try. And they might have had something if that's what they charged him with. But they didn't. See, maybe, if, I don't know, again, I'm not here to defend him. I'm just here, I want y'all minds to kind of begin to wrap around the concept of freedoms, rights. Because for whatever reason, a lot of us think rights are just annoying. If there's a noise ordinance, it has to be kind of spelled out. It can't just be vague, ambiguous. It can't just be, don't be loud. It's got to be spelled out. But if it's not, you can't arrest me for that. I think I saw Angela say, where is it? I think it's a while back. I think I saw Angela say they can't address every situation. Didn't you say that somewhere, Angela? Because I said, if it's not illegal, it's legal. If it's not prohibited, it's allowed. I said, but they can't address every situation. That's why they got to create new laws for every situation. People be like, you know how many laws it is? Because they trying to address every situation. They create some laws that cover a whole lot of stuff. But then you have very specific situations, and they create very specific laws for those very specific situations. There it is, Angela. No way you could logically address every occurrence. That's why they keep coming up with new laws. That's why they keep coming up with new laws to address all of these situations. But if I'm out in public and I got a bullhorn, and ain't no law against me having or using a bullhorn in the public area that I'm in, you can't make me leave. You have to leave, sir. Why? Because they don't like you being here. And what are you enforcing again? Their feelings? Well, they say they can hear you inside. Okay, what are you addressing again? Their feelings? They don't want to hear me. What's the sign up over there? Is that sign a law? What's their rule? Hold on, you're not a rules enforcement official. You're a law enforcement official. If I break a law, enforce the law. But you shouldn't even be coming up to me talking about they don't like this and they want you to leave off of public property. You shouldn't even be coming up to me saying that. I don't know what Anthony says. There is an ordinance that addresses the proximity to the police station. What is that ordinance? And so why wasn't he cited for that? Why wasn't he cited for that? So when people say, well, this ordinance to say you can't do it, what's the ordinance? What does it say? What's prohibited? And then if I break that, it's sure. Do what you got to do. Because somebody don't like it. Because somebody what if they put up a sign tomorrow that say, no red shirts? Well, it's a sign there. I came to vote. But you got on a red shirt, sir. I'm sorry. Get off the property. No, I'm not leaving the property because I got on a red shirt. Criminal trespass. You're under arrest. They could put up a sign. If you're under 5'4", you can't vote or you can't be on the property. The sign, the rules there mean nothing without a law to back them up. And that's kind of the mindset behind it. Like anybody can create any rule. Law enforcement is not there to enforce rules. They're there to enforce laws. Lincoln said he left his bullhorn in the car. Yeah, that's not a shock. That's not a shock. Kamikia says the Board of Elections has a specific policy. Again, that's a policy against the use of bullhorns based on an Ohio law. What's the law? How does it relate to the policy? And then why wasn't he arrested for violating that law? All I'm saying, the only point that I'm making, again, whatever happened, he'll deal with it. He'll deal with it. But y'all have to understand. Y'all have to understand. And I'm really doing this. This is a preemptive talk before I start getting arrested. I don't want to get arrested, but I fear it's going to happen. And I don't need y'all. Well, he shouldn't have been there. They got a rule against recording in City Hall. They don't want you just walking around with a camera. And they told him to leave. He should have just left. So he brought it on himself. Is there a law against recording in public? See, this is preemptive for me. Because some of y'all always gonna find ways to identify with the person trying to oppress somebody else's rights. Because y'all believe, some of y'all, not all of y'all. Because I ain't gonna I probably will. But I don't want to keep saying some of y'all. When I say y'all, I'm talking about some of y'all, and y'all know who y'all are. Y'all love to side with the people who are oppressing people, who are challenging rules and laws that are not constitutional or not good or valid for whatever reason. Y'all love that. Y'all believe. Some of y'all believe. Look, in order to have a decent life, in order to be a decent person, you just got to do what you told to do. Just do what they tell you. If you just do what they tell you. Anthony, where is the ordinance? You keep bringing up this ordinance. Find the ordinance and show it to me. You can do a Google search, find it and show it to me. Otherwise, you're just talking. If it exists, find it and show it to me. Kamikia says, look, I hate he was arrested, but I really don't want to hear Trumpsters yelling outside the Board of Elections with a bullhorn, so I'm good with it. That is horrible. That's horrible. That's the worst, some of the worst logic. I'm okay with the police violating people's rights, potentially, because I don't want to see some other people do that same thing. I don't want to hear Trump supporters say I support Trump. So should I be okay with it if I say I support Biden and they arrest me for it? Well, I don't want to hear them saying I support Trump, so I'm okay with them arresting that dude that said I support Biden. That's horrible logic. Absolutely god-awful logic, Kamikia. Horrible. We can't be okay. And I'm not even necessarily saying that they did violate his rights. Anthony says, and he gonna get me the thing. Anthony says, hey, look, there is an ordinance, a state law. I think Kamikia said there's a state law. And Anthony said there's an ordinance that somehow says you're not allowed to have a bullhorn on the property of the Board of Elections. Hold on. Kamikia says Ordinance 3501.35 prohibits campaigning of any kind inside the polling location. Was he inside? One shouldn't be able to amplify their voices to travel inside the Board of Elections. They're already lightweight harassing people outside the Board of Elections. That is not an ordinance that fits what he was doing. He was not inside the Board of Elections. Clearly. He was outside. Clearly. So that ordinance doesn't fit with what he did. And I could probably yell loud enough for my voice to actually be heard inside the Board of Elections. Anthony, I think Anthony's already committed to defeat because now he's already coming up with excuses. I didn't say it was about the bullhorn, E. Don't add. I didn't add anything. I said, you said that there was an ordinance about him being on the property with the bullhorn. I didn't add anything. That's what the issue was. And you said there's an ordinance about it. Oh no, we got another one. You can't be within certain feet. Come on now. Where's the ordinance to say that? And how do you know that he was within that certain amount of feet? Remember, the issue was the bullhorn, and then they told him to leave. So then they arrested him for criminal trespass. And if the bullhorn is not against the law, them asking him to leave because of the bullhorn is wrong. Thus, the criminal trespass, at least in my mind, is wrong. Again, if there's no law against it, just keep in mind this. And that's why I'm going to keep using the red shirt. If there is no law against me having on a red shirt outside the Board of Elections. But they put up a sign that say no red shirts. And then the police come up and say, sir, you got on that red shirt. They got a sign over there that say no red shirts. They want you to leave. Get off the property. I'm like, I'm not getting off the property because I got on a red shirt. Well, you're under arrest for criminal trespass. The whole thing is shot. Wasn't no law to back that up. Wasn't no law to back that up. I don't know who Diva Oracle is, but he is childish. So that's that. Kamikia now says, since the ordinance thing didn't work, and that's what I keep telling y'all, like, I'm having this conversation again. This is a preemptive strike. Because people always gonna find a reason to side with people trying to oppress people's rights or suppress people's rights. Stop acting like you don't know how legal analysis works. The Board of Election policy is reasonably consistent with that law. It is not. It is not. The law that you cited had nothing to do with what he was doing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Based on the story that I've heard. Nothing. Now, I would like to think he'll go to court. Some judge, my understanding is Janaea Trotter Bratton, who's a brilliant young woman. I'm kind of giggling because she ain't that young. But she ain't like ancient. She's a brilliant woman. Brilliant. And she'll probably look at the law and say, what law did he violate in order to be removed from public property. But that's just my guess. That's just my guess. Anthony says, I wasn't there. I wasn't either. Just saying, if he was too close, define too close. The law has to spell that out. The law has to spell out too close. Not just too close that I don't like it, but too close like the law says you can't be this close. But y'all just keep wanting to be down with the people trying to suppress people's rights. I'm telling y'all, I see this happening. I see myself. Hold on. Janice. Hold on, Janice. Janice says, criminal trespass, the crime of entering on or into property of another after having notice not to or refusing to leave after being told to do so. Rules are different for public property. It's public property. It's not like your house, your private property. It's public property. Based on kind of your interpretation of that rule, I could be on the sidewalk. I entered into public property. Somebody say, I don't want him on the sidewalk. The police come and say, they don't want you here. I say, I'm not leaving. I'm on the sidewalk. They say, you're under arrest for criminal trespass. Wait, I'm in public. I'm on public property. There are different rules for public property. There are different rules. Like, I know a lot of y'all don't seem to get this, but I'm telling y'all, when I go to City Hall and walk around and record the building, I hope to God nobody stops me, nobody harasses me. But I see it enough to know there's a chance that somebody might stop me and harass me and tell me, get out. I don't have to leave. That's public property. When it's open, I'm allowed to be there and I'm allowed to record. And y'all gonna be like, that's criminal trespass because they told you to get out, but you didn't get out. You brought it on yourself. Whatever happened to you, happened to you. We don't care. And I'm gonna be like, wait a minute, but why did they tell me to leave? Well, they don't have to have a reason to tell you to leave. They can just tell you to leave. That's not how it works. I know y'all don't understand this. I know y'all don't understand this. But that's not how it works. Anthony, are you still looking up the ordinance for me? Because you just keep saying stuff. Look up the ordinance, bro. Look up the ordinance. And again, while I'm using that situation as an example, and y'all can find every excuse in the world why he should have been arrested, that don't make it so. Come on, E-Man. Come on what? Come on what? Is that Board of Elections parking lot public or private? Look, let's assume for the moment that complex is privately owned by me, right? Privately owned. I own that complex. When Hamilton County comes and rents a public office on my private property, that becomes public. Subject to the same rules that the public has to, any other public property has to abide by, which means the public is allowed to access it. Just the way it is. It becomes subject to those same rules. So even if I own it, I don't get to, when I rent it to the public or lease it to a public entity. Imagine this. Imagine this. I own this building, right? It's a nice building. And I put the place to pay your property taxes, the auditor, Hamilton County auditor, in there so people can go in and pay their property taxes. But then in my building, I create a rule that nobody with red shirts are allowed to enter my building. So that means nobody with a red shirt can access public property and pay their property taxes? No, you can't do that. Sorry, you rented space in this building to this public entity. Your building is now subject to the public being able to go in and out free from those trivial rules of yours. If you don't like that, don't rent it to a public or lease it to a public entity. That's the way that works. It just is. The way it works. It is. Again, I'm not saying the police were wrong. I don't know the whole situation there. What I'm saying is rules and laws are different. You can't trespass me for violating rules on public property. I have to obey the law. I have to obey the law. These people change the goalposts anytime they want. I mean, if you think about this, and you know, people always criticize me for this, but if you ever really pay attention, a lot of times the stuff I'm saying, the arguments that I'm making, the red shirt argument, those are the kind of arguments that are made before the Supreme Court. Because, like Angela said earlier, well, you can't do a thing that you can't like cover everything. It's not logical to think that you can create a law to outlaw every single circumstance that'll ever come up. That's kind of what the Supreme Court is supposed to be there to do. Like, wait a minute, hold on, y'all got this law. But what if this happens? That creates an undue burden on these people. And they strike down laws as unconstitutional because they say, no, you can't do that. That will adversely affect a certain number or group of people. I say, pass a law then. And then, he get arrested. It gives him an opportunity to challenge that law in court. Pass a law, Hamilton County. Pass a law that says whatever y'all want to say about the bullhorn. Pass a law. No bullhorns within 50 feet of the Board of Elections. Pass a law. Somebody already did that one. Where was it? I ain't got time to go back and look it up. Somebody already did that one. And then somebody challenged it. And that gives them an opportunity to go to court. And eventually they say, well, wait a minute. That law in and of itself is unconstitutional. That's how this stuff get all sorted out. Stefan gets arrested. Stefan challenges the arrest. He probably gets convicted. He appeals that. That goes eventually to the Ohio Supreme Court. The Ohio Supreme Court says, oh, that's just fine. We like that. That goes to the Supreme Court maybe of the United States of America. And they say, whoa, that's restricting free speech. That's not constitutional. And they throw out all of it. The law, the conviction, the whole nine. That's the way that works. Y'all would still be sitting there talking about, well, he shouldn't have had a bullhorn. I don't want to hear no bullhorn. But then when they passed a no bonnet law, well, what a bonnet got to do with anything? Well, you was okay with them passing nonsensical laws to hem people up, and just because they can. And that's not even a law, like rules. And then holding you to their rules as if they were laws. Yeah, they stick a sign up there, say no bonnets. Some chick come to vote with her bonnet on. They like, nope, no bonnets. Get out of here. Say, what? Get out? I'm here to vote. Oh, you're under arrest. We warned you to leave. You didn't leave. Criminal trespass. Emanuel, that's ridiculous. They would never do that about no bonnet. How you know? Because when you make it okay to do it about other stuff, that there's no law, where do you stop? Oh, you talking about the slippery slope argument. Yeah, the same one that they use at the Supreme Court all the time. Again, this is preemptive. This is preemptive. When I go and record, all right, Kamikia says, I agree with the process you are articulating. I disagree with your position. The policy is not nonsensical. It's reasonably related to the Ohio Revised Code. It's not. That was quite specific. If it's not, the way the law works. Right, hold on, you gotta put this up again. The way the law works is if there's no law to say I can't do it. If the law say you can't go inside City Hall and record, and so I stand outside City Hall and record, and they come and arrest me and say, well, but the law say you can't record in City Hall. And I say, I was not in City Hall. Well, but this law is reasonable in relation to that law. No, it's not. If you don't want me to record outside, then make a rule that says no recording outside of City Hall, which we all know that would get struck down, because if you're not in City Hall, you out of City Hall. So nobody would be able to record anywhere. It's not reasonably related to the Ohio Revised Code that you pointed out. And it might be a different one. But that one, it's not the same. It's just not the same. Man, why are you spending so much time on this? We get it. Some people don't. Some people don't. They still don't get it. And they still cool. They still cool with people violating people, arresting them for not breaking a law, and then creating a law to say that they broke it. Kaminkia says, if you were standing outside City Hall using the device that somehow permitted you to record inside, it still violates the law. Wrong. Wrong. Not true. Not true at all. If I'm standing in public, I can record anything that I can see in public. Wyatt, everything just coming through too fast. Everything is coming through too fast. Say what you said again. I saw somebody responding to something you said, but I didn't see what you said. If I'm standing in public and you got your bedroom window wide open and I can see your naked self walking around, I can record you. Now, if you don't want me to record you, guess what you have to do? Close the window, pull the shades, close them blinds. So if the rule is you can't record in City Hall, and I stand out on the sidewalk and I can see into City Hall, I can record it. As long as I'm a place where I'm allowed to be, I can record it. You don't, no, you don't have to be an attorney to understand this stuff and to side. See, this is the thing. Side, if you have to pick a side, this is just my suggestion. Always side on the rights of the people. Always go with the people. Because like why you said earlier that you okay with it because you don't want to see Trump people do it. That's the type of logic that gets you in trouble. I don't remember, what was it, an old thing, they came for the so-and-so and I said nothing, and then they came for the so-and-so and I said nothing, and then they came for so-and-so and I said nothing, and then they came for me and there was nobody to speak up. That's basically what you're saying. Okay, they arrest him, cool. I don't like it, but arrest him because I don't want them to be able to do that. Okay, they arrested him, but I'm okay with that because I don't want them to be able to do. Okay, they arrested it. Next thing you know, they're arresting you. And you're like, but what law did I break? And they like, well, none. But you was okay with us arresting people for not breaking laws before. So now it's your turn. We can't be okay with that. We can't be okay with that. If you begin posting that woman's naked body on the internet, you will be arrested. I don't know about that. It's not necessarily true. Matter of fact, I can't say for certain that it is true at all. You have to create your own privacy. And if I'm somewhere where I'm allowed to be, I can record anything that I can see. Now, there might be some other issues with that, maybe, but it wouldn't be because of that law. Like, they might be like, oh, that's revenge porn. Well, I'm not revenge. I don't even know her. She was in my video. I was walking down the street, recording, and looked up, and there was a naked chick in the window. And I wasn't going to not post my video. She happened to be there. She should have closed the blinds. Well, you're under arrest for inadvertent naked recording. Where's the law that says that that's against the law? See, that's what I'm saying. It's got to be against the law. It's got to be against the law. And we can't be okay. We can't be okay with people being arrested because somebody's feelings got hurt or because they broke some rule. Rules are not laws. Rules are not laws. We got a rule in City Hall that you can't just walk around recording. You have to get permission from the public information, whatever. What law is that? It's just the rule. It's just how we do things here. It's just our rule. Okay. I'm bound by the law. I'm bound by the law. All right, so it was that I wanted to discuss. What? I don't even know what that means, CK. I don't know what that means. I do not want to give the Inquirer a click. Won't someone please tell me what happened to Brother Pryor? See, I told y'all when I started somebody was going to say that. I told y'all. The story as I understand it. Is he was down there, he went in and he voted, he came out, he had his bullhorn. They had a big event going on. He came out, he had his bullhorn. And he was, talking into the bullhorn. Well, apparently there's a rule at the Board of Elections that they don't want any bullhorns on the property where the Board of Elections leases. So they, I guess, told law enforcement, we want that dude with the bullhorn to either stop using the bullhorn or to leave. Law enforcement went and they said, hey, sir, they got a rule. See that sign over there? No bullhorns. You can't use the bullhorn. According to the story, as I understood it, he said, here's the law on that. He had the law with him. He said, here's the law on that, and legally, I'm allowed to use this bullhorn here. The police basically said, well, if you're going to use the bullhorn, they don't want you here. You got to go. Was he inside the building? He was outside the building. They said, since you don't want to not use the bullhorn, they want you off of the property. He said, I don't have to leave the property. I haven't broken any laws. I haven't done anything wrong. They said, you're not going to leave? He said, I'm not going to leave. They said, then you're under arrest. And they charged him with criminal trespass. That's the story as I understand it. Now, if there's a detail or two somewhere, because there could be. I mean, he was, putting the bullhorn right up to people's ears, mispronouncing words, whatever. Okay, they might have something. But that's the story as I understand it. He was arrested, he was released, and he goes before Judge Jeanette Bratton. I always forget the Bratton part, and I don't want to disrespect her husband. So he was there challenging the ordinance. No, the rule, the paper on the wall or that they have up is a rule or a policy. That's not an ordinance. He wasn't there challenging an ordinance. My understanding is there is no ordinance against what he was doing in the way that he was doing it. So he wasn't, again, this is my understanding, challenging an ordinance. He might have been challenging a rule. He might have been challenging a policy. But an ordinance and a law, they're close to the same. I think this happened yesterday. It's happened on Saturday. It's happened on Saturday. It's not illegal to mispronounce words while using a bullhorn. Well, but to put it right up in somebody's ear, that could be against the law. That would be something, I don't know, harassment, maybe even assault. David Harris says, okay, rule or policy. Then now the question is why? Why is that the question? And that, because it was a lady earlier who said, why would you, and this is really what kind of set me off. Why would you go to Norwood and do something, even if it's legal, that they don't want you to do? Because they discriminate out there. So why would you even go to Norwood and do something that might get you arrested? And I was like, what? For the people who don't understand why people challenge unconstitutional rules and policies and sometimes laws, just think back to the civil rights struggle. Why did Martin and them go and march in places and eat in places where there were rules and laws that said they were not allowed to be? Why did they do it, David? Why? Why challenge that rule? Why challenge that policy? Why challenge the rule? This actually kind of fits a little bit. Why challenge the rule that in order to vote, you got to be able to count the jelly beans in the jar? Why challenge that? Why challenge the rule that you got to be able to count the bubbles in the soap? Why challenge such a rule? Why? It's the rule. Just go with the rule. No, you don't just go with the rule. You got to challenge rules that are unconstitutional. You gotta challenge them. David says, it sounds like it was premeditated to bring attention. Just my opinion. I'm not sure what he has to gain when the purpose is to vote. We have the right to vote. They had the right to vote when they was challenging counting in jelly beans too. What is wrong with y'all? How do y'all not understand people challenging rules, policies, laws, ordinances that are unjust? How do y'all not understand that? By y'all logic, everybody should just let everything stay the same. Don't challenge no rules. Why? What's the purpose of challenging that rule? Why? Why even challenge the rule? Where would we be if nobody ever challenged any rules or policies that they thought was unfair, unjust, or just not right? Where would we be? And it get me because y'all be serious than a mug. Like, why even challenge rules? Why go somewhere where they don't want you to be and challenge the rules? If they say they don't want you there, then you just don't go. Why? Why? Because it ain't right? I have a question. What's the purpose of the bullhorn rule? I'm not sure what the purpose is. My guess is they don't like it. It's annoying. It's annoying. Not all, but a lot of these noise ordinance stuff is just because people don't like it. It annoys people. And so they don't like it. And so that would be my guess. Oh, hold on. This is more important. Here, give me my phone. And give me my hug. And you better make it a good one. Okay. And that one was all right. I'll accept that one. Have a good day. Bye. All right. Bye. But my guess is that's the purpose of the bullhorn rule. That's my guess. Now, okay, my further guess is they feel like if you're it. I was listening to 700 WLW this morning, and they were talking about this, which also irritated me because they were 100% in favor of Stephon being arrested because they said, oh, he's out there spewing all of that hate speech. And then if I want to go there and I want to vote for my Republican candidates, then I'm inside voting and I might hear him outside saying to vote for his candidates. And you never know, that might change somebody's opinion. Well, then they double back and said there's no way that would change anybody's opinion. If anything, it would make them dig their heels in more. But they were very happy with the fact that he was arrested. Now, they didn't have a problem with the guys in Arizona with guns at the drop box. That didn't bother them. But the black dude with the bullhorn should be arrested because he could be intimidating people, and if they can hear him inside the Board of Elections while they're just trying to vote. Plus, what did they say? It's annoying. It's just annoying. And if anything, they reiterated. If anything, it would make me even that much more hardcore. That wasn't the term that they used about my candidate. That was what they said. I like talk radio, so I listen to all of it. I'm just now. CK or Lewis says we all agree the man should not have gotten arrested. That's not true. A lot of people feel like, look, they got a sign up. He didn't obey the sign. Arrest his ass. They got rules. If you don't obey the rules, you need to be arrested. And some of y'all think that way too. We got to change that. We got to change that. I know y'all just do whatever it takes to get along, Emanuel. Stop rocking the boat. Stop trying to rock the boat. Stop challenging rules and policies and laws and ordinances. Stop it. Let the rules be what they're going to be and just obey the rules. Just obey. If you just obey, your life will be so much simpler. Just obey. And what if the rule is bad or wrong? Just obey. In time, people will come to see that it's bad and wrong and they'll get rid of it. If everybody just obey it, eventually, people will be like, that's wrong. Kind of like they did with slavery. Nobody was against slavery. Just eventually, the innate goodness of white people said, it's wrong what we're doing. Let's stop it. It's wrong. Just like in the civil rights struggle. The discrimination and Jim Crow segregation. Good white people just decided, everybody was just good white people just decided, this is wrong. We shouldn't do this. Just good white man had an epiphany that day. And he said, no more. No more. Because, that's how change always happens. Everybody just goes along and then, bam, an epiphany happens and change happens. Just like that. That's how change happens. You didn't know that. You thought that people actually went out and spoke about things and challenged people and systems and pricked at the consciousness of America, went to jail, got killed, all that kind of stuff for change to happen. You thought people, what they say, spoke truth to power? You thought that's how change happened? You thought people being involved, you thought that was how change happened? You crazy. Here's my favorite. I knew it would come. There are other rules, policies, or ordinances to challenge. Then why ain't you out there challenging them? How you gonna tell one man what's in his heart? If that's the one he chose to challenge, if you think there's one important, tell me one more important, David. Tell me a more important rule, policy, ordinance, or law. You tell me one. Tell me one, anyone. I don't even care. Tell me any rule, law, ordinance, policy that's unjust, that's more important to be challenged. Gerrymandering. What are you doing about gerrymandering? What are you doing about gerrymandering? See, since you think it's more important than what he was doing, and he was actually actively doing something, but you think yours is more important, then shouldn't you, even more than him, be out there? He's out there for this little one. You got this big one. What are you doing about it? Where's your protest? Tell me where the protest is. Tell me where the challenge is to it. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. See, to say to one man, what I think is more important than what you think is important. So the kind of back conversation of that is, since I think it's more important and you're active, you should activate your ass to do the issue that I think is more important than your issue. I'm not going to go out there and do nothing. Probably 90% of the time when people say, oh, we got bigger fish to fry. Oh, it's more important things. Oh, it's this. Most times, the people saying that there are more important things will never do anything for those things that they think are more important. And they'll criticize the people who go out and do things to challenge things the things that they think is important. So if gerrymandering is such a big deal to you, David, and I'm not, no shot, nothing like that. I'm curious, what have you done to fix whatever you believe the issue to be? Because if you've done nothing, if you believe that this issue is more important than that issue, and he's actually out there doing something, because you believe, I thought it was you who said, oh, it was all kind of set up that he planned to do that. So you believe he planned to do that. So he's actually actively out there putting himself on the line to make change about an issue that you believe he believes is important. And you believe your issue is more important than his issue. What's wrong with you then? What's wrong with you? If you're not out there, because you might be. You might be like, hey, I was out at the State House on Thursday with my sign and my bullhorn protesting about gerrymandering. You might be. I don't know. That's why I'm asking. But if you're not, and yours is more important than his, don't that make you kind of a smaller man? That you're not willing to do anything for something you think is more important, but you will criticize the person doing something for something that they think is important? I think that might make you, that's if. This is all if. I don't know. I think that might make you a smaller man. Walsh says, I applaud the fact that Stefan had the courage to go to jail for what he believed. E-Man, you weren't willing to go to the JC when the Popo told you to get back. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I genuinely don't know what you're talking about. If you can tell me, I will appreciate it. Now, secondly, trust me, we'll come back to this, because when I get to the point that I'm going through city halls and Hamilton County buildings and I'm recording and I get arrested, told y'all this is preemptive. Y'all better not be on there talking about he brought that on himself. Y'all better not. We got to challenge these rules. Got to. Rules, policies, laws, and ordinances. But again, police shouldn't be enforcing policies, policies, rules, or feelings. They should be enforcing laws. When the police told you couldn't get past some checkpoint, I have no idea what you're talking about. To my knowledge, that never happened to me. If you can refresh my memory with something maybe a little specific, that would be great. But when the police told me I couldn't get past some checkpoint, I don't know what that means. I don't ever recall being at a checkpoint and the police saying you can't go past it. I don't ever recall that. So, but if I did, then I'm sure there was an explanation. But I would love it if you could refresh my memory. I would love that. I feel like it's not true only because you said you couldn't get past some checkpoint. Like if it happened and you remember it, wouldn't you know what the checkpoint was about? I would think. You should. I mean, if you're trying to challenge me with it, you have told this story before. Then tell it to me again. If I told the story, then you tell me the story again. I don't ever recall telling a story where I was trying to get past a checkpoint and the police said, you can't pass this checkpoint. I don't ever recall that. So please, if I told the story, tell it back to me. I had coronavirus. Back when, and after the shutdowns and all that kind of stuff, when I was an essential employee, before I became an expendable employee, but when I was an essential employee and I was out all the time, I contracted the coronavirus. It put me down for a while. And I have some issues remembering things still to this day. So maybe if you bring it to my remembrance, like yesterday, I was trying to think of a word. Oh, I can't even think of what the word is now. And I was saying Kanye is trying to use our, what was the word? Even yet, see, that actually proves my point. That actually proves my point. Some things I can't remember. Trauma. Thank you, Sahara. I couldn't remember. So please bring it to my remembrance, and then I'll probably be able to explain to you where you're wrong. But let me see. Where was I going? I was going to Houston. Because that thing is what it is. And again, we'll address it again at some point. Houston. What's the young man's name? The rapper. I don't like the way I say rapper. The rapper from Migos got shot in Houston. Takeoff. Whose real name is Kershnik Kahari Ball. Apparently he was shot. They say that he was shooting dice at some overnight private party at a billiards and bowling alley in downtown Houston. He was playing a dice game when a fight broke out. Someone opened fire, and he was shot in the head or the neck. He was pronounced dead at the scene. 2 other people were shot and taken to the hospital for treatment. And I had, hold on. If Miss Kenny is right about the voting center being a campus, Pryor might have a problem. Why is that? But I had a person earlier today saying, look, all of these rappers are being shot by black people. All of these rappers are being shot by black people. And black people don't want to take accountability. And that saddened me. Not that what he's saying was true, because it's not. But what saddened me is it's working. It's working. This is just my own little theory. My own little theory is this is all white supremacy. And it's complicated to kind of get into it. I believe those may have been black people who killed those black rappers. I can't say with 100% certainty, but for the sake of argument, let's say that this was black people killing these black rappers. And a lot of these black rappers are running around being flashy. Here's why I say it's white supremacy. You create a situation in our society where, and again, this is my opinion. You might not agree with any of my points, but this is the way I'm seeing it. You create a situation where it's hard for black people to get ahead, where wealth is difficult to come by because of a number of factors. Discrimination, you got the redlining, which all falls under discrimination. With all of these different things that lend itself to making it difficult for black people to get ahead, or even just to catch up, let alone get ahead. You flood a community with drugs and guns, an impoverished community that's to some extent impoverished because of your policies and, the aforementioned discriminations that go on. So you create poverty. Then you exacerbate bad situations, guns and drugs and stuff, in impoverished situations. And then you take some people and you give them wealth, but not just wealth for wealth's sake, if that make any sense. How do some of these, and we're talking some of these rappers, how are they getting their wealth? Well, by rapping and performing. What they rapping and performing about? Some of them, maybe not all of them, but some of them. What are they rapping and performing about? Get money any way possible. Drugs, guns, crime. They couldn't do that if the people who own the record companies wouldn't let them do that. And some people would say, tell them to do that. So they're reinforcing the message that, look, I know you're in this impoverished state. I know you're in this impoverished state. But the way to get out is this hustle. It's drugs. It's gangs. This is the way you get out. Any way possible. If you got to rob to get out, rob to get out. Whatever it take is fine. And then you give them wealth. And you tell them, because they also put out the message that the only way to really be successful is not just to be successful, but to live this extravagant life and show all of this excess to the people. Now, hold on. You've impoverished a community. You've put drugs and guns in that community and given them the message. You do whatever you got to do to get out. And then you take the people that you're using to give the message and you tell them, go back into the community, displaying all of your wealth. The same people that you just finished telling that the way to get out is to take it from somebody else and to have this cold-blooded attitude. That's the way that you get out. That's the message. When I listen to hip hop, that's the message that I hear. And then you put them in that community, kind of displaying that same attitude with their excess. And then you shocked when somebody try to take it. You shocked when they come up on the violence that they promote. And again, I'm not saying every individual rapper does this, but come on, it's a staple of the hip hop, well, of the rap community, because some people differentiate. I don't know all the differences. I'm not into rap and hip hop, but I know what I hear. And it's not surprising, and I don't think it's accidental. I don't think it's accidental. Not even a little bit. Sierra says a lot of lyrics are just reflecting realities and warped mentalities that are a direct result of oppression. They couldn't do that, though, if the people who run the record companies didn't let them. They couldn't. And you and me know, well, maybe not. I know some people, there are a lot of people who are easily influenced. Easily influenced. And you put people out there who are so easily influenced, and you put wealth and excess out there reinforcing that message. My goal wasn't to reinforce the message. My goal was to reflect what's going on. But you gotta know that that's reinforcing the message. If you don't, and most of these guys ain't stupid. They're not stupid. They know. They know people listen to them. Again, that's why they endorse products. Because they understand, and other people understand, oh, if we get him to say he drink Mellow Yellow, maybe they'll drink Mellow Yellow. If we get him to say he drinks Sprite, maybe they'll drink Sprite. If we get him to say he drive a Buick, maybe they'll want to drive a Buick. If we get him to say he eat Doritos, maybe they'll want to eat Doritos. If we put his picture on the bag of Ruffles, maybe they'll buy that bag of Ruffles. They understand the influence that they have over people. And they've got to understand, like I understand, nuance is hard. And so if you're like, hey, I'm doing this to reflect what's going on in the community, to point out the devastation that is going on in our community, you know the people ain't getting that. A lot of people, some people I'm sure are, but a lot of people, they're not getting that from the message that you putting out. They don't think that deep. You up there with your chain on, with your, do they call it a medallion anymore? I don't think they call it a medallion. With your chain on, with your medallion, with your gold teeth and whatnot, hanging out of your probably leased supercar, rapping about violence. What they see is, yeah, that's the way to go. Yeah. They don't see, oh, the irony. Oh, that's because it's ironic, because that's who, and that's they don't see that. And like I said, the record companies, because Randall says, he who controls the media controls the mind. The record companies know. They not stupid either. Everybody, well, you can't be putting out all of this positive rap because it won't sell. Yeah, it would if y'all put it out and market it like y'all do the other stuff. And stop putting out the other stuff. What, people who like hip hop just gonna be like, I don't like music no more. Why don't you like music no more? Because everything is positive. Oh, let me answer the phone. CK.
I had to call you, man. I can't. Oh my God. You said the white supremacy is the cause of this. That's just ridiculous as if two white people, a white person killed another person and blame rap and say, yeah, they listening to them black rappers. That is absolute. That you need to be accountable. You are making the music. You are making the content. Listen to your show. What white supremacists talk to you about your show? You are responsible for what you put on your show. So now when you start promoting ignorance, you're going to say, oh, that was white supremacy made me do that. No, Emanuel Livingston come up with your own premise.
CK?
So why would you say this?
CK? Do you want me to answer?
Yes, sir.
Here's why I was
I
saying.
want to hear it.
Do you know what executive runs this show?
Emanuel Livingston.
Do you know what executive runs the music companies? It ain't Migos.
It's a number of them.
Right. It ain't Migos, is it? They don't run the company.
Right.
They don't get to decide what they do. They get told what to do. They get told what to do. If
No,
you don't,
they don't. You bring your. I disagree with you there. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I disagree with you.
You are wrong. If they don't do what they are told to do, guess what'll happen? Just take a guess. What'll happen?
They're not told. You're bringing your writing to a company.
CK.
I'm saying,
You're wrong. You're wrong. I'm telling you.
No, listen. You keep saying you're wrong. You just disagree.
I'm about to tell you.
I'm not wrong.
Go ahead. Explain why you're not wrong. But you're wrong.
Okay. You're wrong. I'm saying that sounds stupid just saying wrong. You disagree or whatever.
No,
listen,
you're wrong.
You are the artist. Okay, damn, you a kid or something?
Yeah.
If you are an artist, you are writing that. So you bring it to a company. A company does not just they put out all types of movies. You can make comedies. You can make horror films. You can make gangster movies. So, boom.
CK?
This is what you bring it.
CK.
You are the author.
CK.
That's what I'm saying. You don't listen. That's
I
why
did listen.
That's why you
CK.
ignorant, 'cause you
I
don't
did listen.
No, you don't.
I
You
did.
cut me off.
I listened to you, but let me explain to you because you're just so wrong. See, look.
You don't want to hear it. That's what I'm saying.
CK.
You don't want to hear the truth.
No, you don't want to hear the truth. Here's the truth.
No, the truth is black people have different. Some people make
very
gangster
rarely ever
music,
have to
but
do
the
this.
top rappers are J.
But
Cole. Hold on, what about J. Cole?
Like, super frustrated. So,
Okay, go ahead. Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
Here's the truth. CK, if I want to put out a message and you're an artist, but I run the record company and you come to me with your nice flowery lyrics, love, peace, black empowerment, and you come to me and that ain't the message that I want to put out, I won't ask you to guess. I'll tell you what I would do. No, I'm not signing you. Or CK, if you've been putting out this music that I want you to put out, and then you come to me and you say, "Ooh, I don't want to put that out no more." Guess what I'm gonna do? Well, until you record what I say you record, your music won't see the light of day, cause I own you. You signed this contract. I own what you do. I get to dictate what get released, what get promoted. I don't care what you write as the artist. I'm the record company. I decide what goes out on this label. So it's not, oh, well, I just write whatever and they just put out whatever. No, they get told what to do.
Now give me a chance to rebut that.
Go ahead.
Please. Andre 3000. You just proved my point. He came out gangster music. Outkast were talking about gangster selling dope. He, in his head, said, you know what? I can't keep putting this trash out to my community. I'm talented enough to switch it up and make positive music, which he did. It's up to the artist. He switched. So when I tell the young people, I use him as an example to prove people like you wrong. He's the artist. He's exceptionally talented. The fans are going to listen to Andre 3000 regardless if he's talking about selling dope or if he's talking about loving the community, which he proved it. And he's trying to show other rap artists they can do the same thing.
CK. Okay, let me ask you a question. CK, let me ask you a question. Andre 3000's last big hit was what?
Hey, nah.
How long ago was that? How long ago was that?
Probably 10 years ago.
So wait a minute. He the artist. He putting out all this positive stuff. They gonna listen to Andre 3000 anyway. Why ain't he put out nothing that's a big hit in 10 years?
No, but only thing is...
Hold on. No, answer. Answer.
I'm answering you.
Why haven't he put out a big hit in 10 years?
How you cutting me off when I'm answering you? Come on now.
Because you ain't answering.
I'm saying it, goddamn.
Just say
He's
it.
long in the tooth.
Oh.
He's long in. Listen, just like listen. Rap is a young man's sport.
Oh.
He's long in. It's just like saying, well, Will Smith haven't did it. These guys are long in the tooth, but you still have young artists putting out positive music. You have J. Cole. You have Kendrick Lamar. You can't just say it's all gangster music out here.
I didn't say that. I never said it was all gangster music. I never said that.
No, but so I'm saying the talent speaks for itself.
So wait, hold on, wait.
They
So
don't tell you what to rap about.
They do, but let me clarify this.
You
let
decide.
me
How
clarify.
Do you know?
This.
Who do you know they got told to rap gangster? See, you just be lying.
Let me tell you,
That's
I know.
no problem.
Oh my goodness, I know a number of people in the music business. People who are signed to record deals. I know people who have albums on the shelf who can't get them released by the record company because the record company don't like what's on the material. They don't like the material that's recorded, so they won't release their projects that are recorded, mixed, mastered, finished. I know this for a fact because I know these people.
But I still name one of the most successful artists
Who ain't had a hit
example.
in 10 years.
But who? Well, name one now. Well, name a rap artist that got a hit now. The people you talking about.
I don't know
Who
these
are you
rappers.
talking about? Thank you, because you're just talking out your ass.
No,
you
I'm
ain't
not.
talking about facts.
Oh my goodness.
You ain't talking about facts.
Oh.
You just trying to blame some shit because you don't even
You
don't
just
believe in
look,
what you're saying.
because you don't understand the way that the game actually worked. That ain't my fault. That ain't my fault.
Because you don't understand that people make their own choices. If they want to be peaceful, they want to be peaceful. But because you want to make
you're right. People do make their own choices.
For people that kill
you're
black
right. People do make their own choices. But the choices that they're making are dependent on other factors. So if I've gotten this lifestyle that I've grown accustomed to, and I'm making all this money, and I want to switch it up, and they won't let me switch it up, I'm going to just sit back and be broke, and I already owe them. Like I signed this deal. So I can't just drop my own stuff. I'm not allowed to do that. I'm not getting paid. And they can get you to the point where you can't even go do shows because they own you to that degree. So I can't make no money. So you know what I'm going to do? You want me to rap about what? Pass the mic. About.
I understand. With Lil Durk, he said the same thing, and his fans were saying people that purchase it's not the record label. His fans are talking positive. His fans told me they don't want. Fans are dictating the consumer. They dictating if they not going to buy your stuff. You're not talking gangster. So you got to
true there.
Telling me.
Hold on, but what I'm saying is sort of true, okay? You're right. There is a demand for it, but you know why there's a demand for it? Let me tell you one of the things that one of the people said. They wanted to go in a particular direction with their music. The record company wanted them to go a different direction, and they said, this is the direction that we're moving in. Now, here's what the record company understand. You might think you know what you want until we give you what we told you want. I know that don't make sense, but they determine what you think you want by what they put out. The record company executives understand that. That's why they market certain music and other music they don't. You can have the baddest album or project in the world, but if Epic don't want to market it and don't nobody ever hear about it, then your record ain't going nowhere. They spend millions of dollars marketing this music. And guess what? Guess who actually spending that money? The artist is spending that money. So when you decide you want to change directions and they say, no, we don't want you to change directions, and you say, well, I'm going to do it anyway, and they say, well, your record will sit there on the shelf, and don't forget, you owe us all that money from the previous recording, and you owe us all that money from all the marketing we did, and you owe us all that money on all the promotion that we did. You owe us this, and you owe us all this back money. Guess what you gonna do? I owe y'all how many millions of dollars, and y'all ain't gonna put out my project? And you talking about what the people say they want? again,
The people want Drake. Drake is the number one rap artist. He does not promote violence in his music. So that proves me right. The gangster music rappers are falling off because they're getting killed and they going to jail. So they do not. Drake shows you, listen, you can rap about this. You can rap about having fun. You can rap about getting money. You don't have to rap about killing each other. Gangster music is not the thing. That is not the thing. That's what just gangsters want to do, to make money. But that's not the thing. That
because that's what's
number
been
one is Drake. Drake gave you a
partially
Will Smith.
CK, because that's what's been marketed to them.
So
That's
Drake,
what has been. I'm not talking about Drake. Again, no, every rapper, and I've said that. I don't know why you keep trying to pigeon that as if I said every rapper on the
but
planet
he's the
is
number one.
gangster.
He's the one everybody wants to be. He's the most successful. He's Michael Jordan of the rap game right now.
Has
so
he
you
been-
can't say it's
Hold on.
it's a record label.
Hold on, let me
It's
answer.
the artist.
CK. Has he been killed?
No, because he don't promote gang. He don't promote the violence.
So thank
That's
you.
what I'm telling you.
Again-
If you promote this in your music, it's going to come back on you. It's
CK.
a good chance it will.
So you didn't hear the point that I was making there. That was the point that I was making. They are promoting this, and then they're sending those people, and they go back into the community having promoted all of this stuff, and then it come back on. That's the point that I was making.
So, okay, so what are the people that's pulling the triggers and making music? What are they promoting when they go in the studio? Ain't they promoting murdering black people? That's what you getting away from. What are they promoting? The people that's actually selling dope on the corners to black
It's
women.
been promoted
What are
to
they
them.
promoting?
That's
when
what
they
I'm.
go in the
Oh
studio,
my God.
they promoting their lifestyle.
It's been, again, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Why can't I say prophecy? A self-fulfilling prophecy. I got promoted this lifestyle. So I live this lifestyle. And then if I get an opportunity to promote a lifestyle, guess what I do? I promote that same lifestyle to somebody else. So then guess what? The next person that I influence, he lived that lifestyle. And then if he get an opportunity, he promote that same lifestyle to somebody else. And then he lived that lifestyle. And then if he get opportunity, he promoted to, it's just circular. And
I
it's
just
not
want you to know
accidental.
But when I tell people like Lil Durk, yeah, you could change because he's so number one. I said they love you so much. If you do switch your music, they're going to come with you. He doesn't believe me, but I use Andre 3000 as an example. But I do have an example. Just because he's older now, it's still a young man's sport. It's like the NFL.
Okay.
It's a young man's sport. It's not really an old man's sport. But we do have examples of you could change. You don't have to stay gangster. You could be like, you know what? It's too violent. The price is too high talking all this game. My boy just got killed. Just like the Migos, they might not want to rap violent no more after they lost their boy. Sometimes things happen to you in life that make you change with how you doing things.
That's true.
That's all I'm trying to tell you, man. But I just want you to know that we have accountability, and you tell the kids, the artists, I don't think the record labels are telling them to rap this way. They just listen.
Right.
They got a business. They do all the music.
Hey, you can believe that if you want to, but I'm telling you, they tell them what's hot. They have A&R guys. They dictate what they look like. They dictate what they wear. They dictate how they rap, what they rap about, where they promote, how they promote. They have a whole team that when you think you see an artist and like, oh, he just straight from the streets and that's the way he came up. No, that image was crafted for you. None of this stuff is accidental.
It's just like Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5. They showed you what the people like. It wasn't no record label gonna be like this. They daddy knew what the people like.
No.
That's how music is made.
Goodness.
The streets make the entertainment.
Okay. All right.
The business, the music business don't know nothing. The artists know more than the business.
CK.
Yes, sir.
You're wrong, but I do appreciate your call.
Hey, man, we can agree to disagree, but see, that's how you know you're wrong, because you got to say I'm wrong. Hey, you a man, I'm a man. I ain't trying to put nothing on you. I just got my beliefs. You got your beliefs. It ain't no wrong or right. It's
That's
a belief.
not true.
That's the thing. You can't just put your beliefs on somebody. No, because you don't even know about the people you're talking about.
I appreciate
the people you're talking about don't even last.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't hang up. He hung up. He wanted to get the last word, and I don't have a problem with that. But to say, I mean, he even went back to, like, just watch the Temptations movie, bro. They had a lot of songs before they got a hit because the record company was trying to craft everything to get it to where it's not. When we buy into the hype, like we believe, like they're really good at what they do. They are really good at what they do. They create a backstory. They create an image. They create a sound. Or they tell you to go create a sound and you create a sound and they don't like that sound, so create a different sound. They know what they want to push. They know what they want to market. Look, I'm not saying like I know Jay-Z. I don't know Jay-Z. But I know a few artists who are legit signed to labels. They have deals. And they sitting back waiting to drop stuff. And they like, we got all this material, but the record company keep telling us, no. We got this hot. No. I hope one of them hit it big. I know one or two that's like, hey, when I hit it big, when I go on tour, I'm bringing you. And I'm like, it ain't gonna work like that either. You don't necessarily get to dictate who come with you on tour. But I hope you make it and reach that level, because some people do get to a level where they can kind of call their own shots. Kind of. Prince was a huge artist. They kind of told Prince what to do. Remember, he was walking around with Slave on his face? They wasn't going to drop no music until they decided to drop some music. And they was going to drop what they wanted to drop. And he had to fight to get stuff. Y'all remember the song Kiss? That song. The record company didn't want to drop that song. He had to fight. At that point, one of the biggest artists in the world had to fight to get a song dropped because the record company didn't like it. And the story goes, he told them, if y'all don't release this, y'all ain't getting nothing. And because he had that kind of pull, they released it and it became what you know it to be. That's how that industry works. It looked like one thing. You know, when you go on, I do shows here and there. When you go on a set and you see all that stuff and it's beautiful and then you go behind it and you like, wait, this is all like wood and beams. Ain't none of this real. It's not real. Kenny says the Prince thing was a pretty long time ago. You really think it changed? You really think that the music, what happened with Prince? That was in the 80s. The music business is nowhere near the same now. Artists totally dictate what they're going to do, and the record companies is whatever the artists say to tell them to do. No. That's not how it works. I'm telling y'all, that's not how it works. You ain't got to believe me. But I know. I think I saw Janice said, if you create your own record company, then, you get to do whatever it is that you want to do. But not if you've been signed to a label. And I've been told by, some people, don't be trying to create no record company. Them record companies ain't going to let you create no record company that's going to really make some noise. But I don't know how true that is. But if I sign a deal and they won't let me release my stuff, and I still got 2 records on that deal, and they're like, we don't like your stuff. That's not what we trying to put out. I can't just go create a record company and drop my stuff. And they can sit me on the shelf for the rest of my life. Jenna says, my brother had his own record label. I'm not saying you can't, but how many millions of records units were they moving? And was he a record company or a record label? Because that make a difference too. You got to get distribution. Who was distributing his stuff? And you talk to your brother and ask him, did the record company dictate things to you? But what you're doing now is basically the same thing. They kicked you out of radio and you left, and now you're doing your own thing here. Exactly. Exactly. And I'm looking right now, and there is 56 people watching. Again, I'm not saying you can't do it. But if you get to a certain level, my understanding, and again, this I don't know to be true, but my understanding is there might be trouble. You got to come in under somebody. That label too big. I don't think Thriller is gonna ever be released from an independent. Kenny says 56 teams. 56 seems kind of high. All right. Oh, if only you understood. If only you understood. Y'all, I got to get out of here. I believe Wyatt's coming on. I'm all off into his time. We'll get back to this at some point. But check out Wyatt. My name is Emanuel Livingston. This has been the Afternoon Experiment. I hope something amazing happens in your life. I hope something amazing happens, life-changing, today. All right? My name is Emanuel Livingston. I'm the King of Talk. Until next time, I'm out, y'all. Peace.